Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So shouts out to everybody that's already in the room. I definitely appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you're not subscribed to my other social media and to my backup channels, please make sure that you guys take a moment and do that right now. All right. Also, if you guys could share this video out, because sharing is what spreads the message, not the YouTube algorithm. The YouTube algorithm does not help me whatsoever. As you guys can see, I can have a video with 100 likes that YouTube will only give exposure to about 200 to 300 views. There's nothing that I can do about that. To all of those YouTubers who talk shit about people getting views, you got 1,500 views and 42 likes. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't know anything about math, that means that you're getting artificial help. That doesn't mean that the people watching your shit actually like it. One thing that I'm happy about is that the people that watch my shit actually like it. So shout out to each and every one of you guys. All right. So, man, it's been a busy week for a lot of these insane people. Shout out to Kanye West. But we got some more people who are out here acting stupid. We have the councilwoman in Los Angeles, the Karen Bass supporter. You know what I'm saying? And we have other stuff going on as well. So we are going to get into all of that stuff today. All right. Real quick, shout out to everybody that's already in here. We got Tia2U in the building. What up with it, Tia? Good to see you as always. Got my man Carlton Way in the building. What's going on with it, Carlton? We got Catsy up in here. So shout out to everybody. Everybody that's in here, please bang on that like button. And got my man Al McCowan in the building. It's all good, bro. Better late than never. You know what I'm saying? So, did you guys know about this? Biden calls on Nuri Martinez and other council members to resign after audio leak. This is a joke. Remember what I told you guys about when, quote unquote, certain people attempt to point out other people's racism? Always be skeptical of it. This is absolutely not sincere on the part of Joe Biden's. Joe Biden is an absolute racist. And how dare him tell her to step down after telling us that we need to get everything that we need to get politically through Latinos? This was what Joe Biden said. These were the people that Joe Biden sent us to. You're going to have to learn to work with Latinos. Why do I have to learn to work with Latinos when you have Latino Karencitas at city council meetings talking about trying to block black people out of political power, which is the same thing that Joe Biden is doing? Somebody explain that to me. How does that make any sense? Does it make any sense? Joe knows that he talks like that at his country club. Facts. He knows that he's talking like that while he's sniffing lines of cocaine with his son. You heard how his son talks. He can't afford the lawyer because those is Hennessy prices, my nigga. Where you think he learned that from? He learned that from his father. I wonder if he learned how to put foundation over his liver spots on his face from his father too. Now, what I want to know is, did all Democrats denounce Nuri Martinez? Because apparently it's a worse offense to make an arbitrary statement about one group of people than it is to call a black child a monkey and to say, fuck this guy, he's with the blacks, because that's what Nuri said. That's what Nuri said. You guys remember when Kevin Samuels said that Latino woman would be black women's biggest competition? I mean, shit, I see why now. I see why now. Shout out to my man DJ Elmo. Biden calls on Nuri Martinez, other LA council members to resign after audio leak. You guys remember that? Do you guys remember when Kevin Samuels directly said that Latina woman would be black women's biggest competition? I guess this is why. I don't think it had anything to do with looks. I don't think it had anything to do with cooking. I don't think it had anything to do with cleaning. I think it has the fact to do with that these Karen Cetas are racist as fuck. I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, but somebody tweeted a short video of a racist Karen Ceta just talking hella shit about black people. All we do is commit crime and spend welfare money. She must get her statistics from the same place that the alt-right gets them, and that would be from a horse's ass. These people really want to believe whatever it is that they want to believe. So the way that I look at it is, let them. I think that it's time to actually materialize a lot of these stereotypes to literally scare the soul out of these people anytime we come in contact with them. She must have went to the Manhattan Institute and graduated maggot cum laude. You know what I'm saying? Or graduated MAGA cum laude, like Tuberville. But we'll get into him later. President Biden believes Nuri Martinez and other council members should resign from the Los Angeles City Council over racist remarks heard in leaked recordings that were made public this week, a White House spokesperson said on Tuesday. The president is glad to see that one of the participants in the conversation has resigned, but they all should, said Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary, calling the language during the conversation unacceptable and appalling. Now, here's my question. Where's the immigrant class of people? Where's the immigrant crowd at? Betty Kilby and Phoebe Kilby. All right, DJ Elmo, I'll check it out. Where are the immigrants at to address some of this? Because first and foremost, immigrants say that they're not xenophobic towards foundational Black Americans. This is the first thing. They try to say that foundational Black Americans are a hate group. They try to say that our ethnicity, that's not an official federally recognized group, is a hate group. I don't understand how an ethnicity can be a hate group unless you're talking about white supremacists. But this is what they say. They also say that racism doesn't exist and that we all in this together as one brother. I haven't seen any immigrants come out and denounce this talk. You know what I've seen? I've seen immigrants come out and double down on it. Well, you know she's right. You know she's right. What is she right about? She's right that a little black baby was a monkey. She's right that the DA is with the blacks. I want one of those shirts that says that I'm with the blacks. You know what I'm saying? Somebody made a shirt like that. That's not a bad idea. Shout out to Robert Taylor, B1. What up with it? My man Cameron Jones up in here. What's good with it, bro? Biden is clout chasing, Carlton. I agree 100%. See, we need to treat their system with the same energy they give us. We need to get our resources in order. Facts. Facts. Super facts. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way that it's ever going to end. Because right now it's nothing more than a game. And let me tell you something. Biden can't be bothered. You see, Biden is racist himself. He came out and said this about this Nuri woman. But notice how he didn't say it about the white man, Tommy Tuberville, calling all black people criminals. Hey, you want to keep calling us all criminals? We should start acting like criminals. I give you a reason to hold that purse in the elevator. I give you a reason to call backup anytime I go to a store. I'll give you the reason to make sure it's 10 police officers when you arrest me. I'll give you a reason that you will take to the grave with you. You will tell generational stories about how scary my ass is. I don't fear any of these people. Tommy Tuberville said they're coming for your shit. We're coming for your planet. You made a mistake. You need to go back and edit your speech, Tommy. We're not just coming for your rights. We're not just coming for your reparations. We're coming for the globe. You're going to have to take all kinds of special pills to help regulate your mental capacity. You're going to be scared to open your eyes and lay down and go to sleep because every single time you go to sleep, you're going to think of the most scariest horde of soldiers just blacking the planet out. You want to paint your own reality? Let me help you with the color coding. Joe Biden is doing this as a measure to pander to black people. It's one of the reasons why, in my opinion, when we talk about these racists, we should talk about them in our own circles and not really give a lot of attention to what other people say, because we all know what other people say. What do you guys think that the rest of the world is saying about this? Well, I mean, she didn't say anything wrong. That's what the rest of the world is saying. I mean, she's right, you know. Let me ask you guys a question. The ADL, the JDL, came out and made a statement about Kanye West. He needs to be denounced because he made comments mentioning the Jays. Let me ask you guys a question. Did anybody come out and denounce Nuri Martinez? If some people came out and denounced Nuri Martinez, give me a thumbs up. If nobody came and denounced Nuri Martinez, give me a thumbs down. You would think that denouncing Nuri Martinez would be of a higher order. It would be more important because she's a politician and she had a strategic plan to use unfair competition to lock people out so that people like her could have an unfair advantage. Now, the ADL is not going to talk about this because these are the same tactics that they use. And they hijack people's movements. They hijack the civil rights movement. So they're not going to say anything about it. Shout out to Ricky and Derek. What up with y'all? Another reason why they're not going to say anything about it is because they agree. They agree. See, pay attention to what these people don't say. If you pay attention to what they do say, you'll be lost in the sauce. So now here it says Biden is now the highest profile political figure to weigh in on the firestorm that has generated outrage across the city. Now, here's another thing that I have a question about. These racist people in Los Angeles are Democrats. I want to know from you guys in the comment section, why didn't Biden and the rest of the Democrats denounce these people? Where's AOC? AOC was hot on her trigger finger, on her Twitter finger, to say something about Kanye West. This really, to me, does not seem like a very big deal to these people. They're not worried about it. They don't care. They actually agree. As a matter of fact, let's go further than that. Let's go back further than that. They should have also denounced no vote, no vucking. This isn't, they should have said this kind of propaganda is not going to get anybody to vote for us. How could you be so disrespectful to your most loyal voter base? But did they say that? No. Then you got people like Tiffany Cross, Joy Reid, sitting there talking about, oh, you need to just fall in line. Fall in line with what? These are Democrats. You got that fossil Al Sharpton talking about black and brown coalitions. This is your black and brown coalition. But there is an actual black and brown coalition. It's not a black and brown coalition that we approve of, but it's a Democrat black and brown coalition. Because I don't know if you guys watched my last stream or checked out the community post, but this woman, Nuri Martinez, was a Karen Bass supporter. If you guys knew that this woman was a Karen Bass supporter, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. If you guys did not know that, well, now you do. You can take a moment and go check out the community post. The community post has the proof. There's an article from the LA Times with a screenshot and a link attached. Karen Bass is one of the main people that's trying to put pressure on you, trying to tell you who you need to vote for and why. That's not acceptable. It's not acceptable that Karen Bass is trying to pander to this kind of voting base. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. If you guys did not know why black people don't get anything from these politicians, you saw what this lady Nuri Martinez was doing. She's trying to block black people out of competition. She gave Karen Bass an endorsement. So that means that Karen Bass is all about that. Because they wouldn't have gave her an endorsement if Karen Bass didn't support what she supports. So the fact that this came out, this proves that Karen Bass sold you out. You know what else proves that Karen Bass sold you out? She's not demanding an apology, and she's also not denouncing her. I don't want somebody that has done something like this giving me their endorsement, and if I had it before, I need to say, hey, you know what? I don't support this. But Karen Bass is silent. Shout out to Val. What up with it, Val? She's silent. She's silent as a church mouse. Jean Pierre's comments came on the eve of a 4-day Western swing that will bring Biden to Los Angeles and Orange County, and just after Martinez announced that she would take a leave of absence from the council rather than give up her seat. So what you guys need to understand is that Martinez is just like the rest of everybody here in the United States. She doesn't think that she did anything wrong. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not smashed the like button, please make sure you guys smash that like button. We got 27 people watching. Thank you to all 27 people who are checking out the video. And we got 19 likes. If everybody could take a moment and smash that like button, that would be great. You know what I'm saying? That would definitely help. Shout out to Roots Tracker. What up with it? So now here it says, by weighing in ahead of Biden's trip, the White House sought to deal with the controversy before the president arrives in California, where he is set to hold 2 public events and attend a fundraiser with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on Thursday night. Now, at this fundraiser, Joe Biden, if he actually cares, he needs to have Nancy Pelosi come out and denounce this woman. But Nancy Pelosi is not going to do that. Shout out to Roots Tracker for the 20th like. He's not going to do that because he feels the same way that she does. I'm telling you, if these people want to keep talking this stereotype stuff, we need to show them exactly what it looks like. We need to show them what it looks like. You want to act like you're so scared, you don't know what to do, that every time somebody comes around, you have to lock the doors on your car? Okay. You better lock them then. You better hold that purse tight when you get in that elevator. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the president joins a long list of California Democrats who have criticized Martinez, including Mayor Eric Garcetti, Senator Alex Padilla, and both mayoral candidates Karen Bass and Rick Caruso. Now, I know you guys saw my live stream yesterday, but if you didn't, check out that live stream yesterday, because Karen Bass apologized for quote unquote racist comments that she made. How many of you guys saw that? If you guys saw that live stream from yesterday, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't, give me a thumbs down. I haven't heard any public criticism that Karen Bass made of Martinez. I haven't heard any. She must have not said very much. Have you guys heard anything? I haven't heard anything. But critique and denouncing are two different things. And she needs to denounce her. The entire Democratic Party needs to denounce her. She needs to be like Tulsi Gabbard and go ahead and get gone, because she sounds and looks like Tulsi Gabbard. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Edward Berry. Shout out to my man AB Promotions. What's good, bro? So now here it says, responding to a question in the briefing room, Jean Pierre took the opportunity to draw a broader contrast for voters as the midterm elections near. Look at this. Here's the difference between Democrats and Republicans. When a Democrat says something racist or anti-Semitic, why is anti-Semitic getting thrown in there? Nobody said anything involving them. Why do they always try to shoehorn them in? Shout out to my man Thomas Wilson. What up with it? Why do they always try to shoehorn them in? Either them or LGBTQ or brown and all of this stuff. This is something specifically about black people. We hold Democrats accountable, she said. No, they don't. Has the president been held accountable for being best friends with a KKK member? Has that happened? Has the president been held accountable for the 94 crime bill? Has the president's son been held accountable for the anti-black things that he said that have come out? Where is it that Democrats hold each other accountable? Democrats didn't even say anything about Ed Buck. What Democrats do is pass the buck. Well, we think just because they said it, we're supposed to believe it. Oh, Democrats hold each other accountable. Democrats have some of the most extensive media networks. If Democrats were holding each other accountable, everybody would know about it because they'd be running it 24 hours a day on repeat. Democrats don't hold anybody accountable. You still got President Biden sitting up here talking about these are Putin's gas hikes, when the gas is the price that it is because of horrible economic policy. I agree, Maurice. If you guys agree with Maurice, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Democrats don't hold anyone accountable. They pander for our votes. Facts. Facts. Now look at this. When a MAGA Republican says something racist and anti-Semitic, they are embraced by cheering crowds and become celebrated and sought after. So do Democrats. So do Democrats. That's not something that's specific to MAGA. I agree, rebellious one. And we need to start working toward that. And the only way that we can start working toward that is if we get our act together, money together, and resources together to where we can provide impactful, harmful, hurtful, long-lasting, carcinogenous repercussions anytime something is done when they try to harm us. As much money as we spend, we can make big dents in the financial market. We can shrink the economy. We can start our own recession. That's the kind of stuff that needs to happen. A black person gets killed by the police. Up, well, 1/4 of the GDP gets killed too. That's one of the reasons why we have to have in finished products, raw materials, all the way through to the finished product, a complete supply chain that's completely 100% owned by us, so that it's not very much they can do, and so that we can insulate ourselves from any kind of economic sanctions that they would be able to put on us. The same type of thing that Russia did. Because let's not get it twisted, the United States has had us under sanction ever since we encountered this country and before. And it's time to return the favor. Tommy Tuberville wants to call all black people criminals. We'll show you exactly how criminal we can be. You guys think what you did was criminal. We will show you exactly how criminal we can be. Give you something to actually complain about. You guys ever had that kind of situation when you were crying and your mother was like, you better stop or else I'll give you something to cry about? Yeah, I'll give you something to call me a racist about. She referenced comments by Tommy Tuberville, which we'll be getting to that, at a rally with Trump last week, suggesting that black people are more likely to commit crimes. This is what white people say all the time. This is a white narrative. Go look at the FBI crime statistics and see who commits most of the crimes. You can also check out my Crimecast channel. Or I'll tell you another place where you get some good insight on criminals that the WS media doesn't show a lot. On Friday, Professor Black Truth does that crime report. Only we commit crimes. You know what I'm saying? Only we commit the crime. Enraged bodybuilder incinerated his ex-wife in his backyard, cops say. But only we commit the crime. Now, what's Tommy Tuberville have to say about that? What's Tommy Tuberville have to say about all of the sex crimes, all of the family deletions? That's my question. That crime initiative is something that came straight from the Manhattan Institute. So now people always ask why on that Crimecast channel. I say because remember, it's only us that commits crimes. That's what the dominant society says, and they push that. And it's not just the Republicans. The Republicans provide the narrative, the Democrats provide the rebuttal. Black people are more likely to commit crimes. Now, it's interesting that he said that. Even if that was true, why would that be the case? Isn't there a racial wealth gap that was started by slavery and before that, and has been perpetuated with anti-black policy and unfair competition throughout time? But we're not going to talk about that. Now, we're supposed to believe we're not all like that, right? But I don't hear anybody criticizing him. And if you do criticize him, you're woke. You know that word, woke? I agree, Ed. That's one of the reasons why I started doing Crimecast. I haven't been able to do one lately because I've been too tired when I get off from work, but I got some content for one coming up. Shout out to my man Zip. Yeah, this is what they say. This is their slogan. The only crime they commit is getting caught. Facts. Get us our money before we take it. And whatever else we want. Biden, who was propelled through 2020 primarily, largely thanks to his strong support from black voters, we have to make sure that a sentence like this can never be written again. What has any politician done to get black support? Can anybody name anything? These Hispanic Democrats, these are Democrats. These people that made all of these anti-black comments, make no mistake, these are Democrats. And for all the people that think they're going to run over to the Republican Party, they think that all of us are criminals. And if none of them have stood up to say anything about what Tommy Tuberville said, that means that the same thing that Dave Chappelle said black people were doing with Juicy Smollett, we support him with our silence. So they're supporting Tuberville with their silence. Now, apparently this says that Joe Biden has made a point of speaking out on racial justice and promised that equity would be a hallmark of his administration. For one, nobody asked you to speak out about any damn thing. Joe Biden hasn't even denounced or said anything about the slave issues in his family. He hasn't addressed his own son, and nobody asked for equity. Equity is not owed, reparations are. So now here it says, although Democrats have failed to advance on voting rights legislation during his time in office, nobody's asking for voting rights legislation. Let me ask you guys a question. And these are the questions that these people need to be hammered on. What do voting rights legislation have to do with the racial wealth gap? Does that help anything? If somebody in here could explain to me how voting rights help the racial wealth gap, I would be greatly appreciative. Anybody got any thoughts, insights, answers? How does that work? How does that help anything? Does it help anything? It doesn't make any sense to me. And I agree. If the Democrats do condemn anything said by Tuberville, it's fake outrage. Facts. Just like this right here is fake outrage on Biden's part. Facts. I agree 110%, Maurice. Now here it says Biden has frequently condemned racism, but wait, his vice president said that racism and structural racism don't exist. Shout out to my man Torian Rain. What up with it, bro? Kamala Harris said that racism doesn't exist. So how do you have the president saying one thing and then you have the vice president saying another thing? That don't work. Do it. He is determined to convey solidarity on what he sees as bedrock issues for the country. We don't need solidarity. That's the problem. They're trying to make a bunch of people get along that don't get along. We don't need solidarity. I don't think anybody's looking for solidarity. If anybody in the chat is looking for solidarity, give me a thumbs up. If you're not, give me a thumbs down. I'm looking for solidarity with us. I don't need solidarity with people that call me a criminal. I don't need solidarity with people that would call my son a monkey or kill my son because they thought that he had a gun. I don't need solidarity with people like that. I need to be able to defend and defend myself from and eradicate, if necessary, people like that. Shout out to DIY Queen. What up with it? Shout out to Freedom Queen. What's up? So now here it says he is far less constrained by self-restraint than President Obama was during his 8 years in office. Martinez, who has now issued multiple apologies, became the first Latina to hold the powerful position of city council president in 2019. The representative from San Fernando Valley used racist terms and denigrated colleagues during an October 2021 meeting with 2 other city council members while they were discussing the redistricting process. Now, here's my thing too, and I want you guys to make sure that you guys understand this. The only reason why they care about this is because this was a black kid who had 2 gay white parents. If his parents weren't gay and if his parents weren't white, no one would care. That is the only reason anyone cares. Pay very close attention. They're not talking about, when they talk about this, they don't talk about what she said about the child. They talk about how she was talking about her 2 colleagues. Had the adopted child's parents not been 2 gay white men, no one would care. No one cares now. So now here it says Martinez focused in particular on council member Mike Bonin, who is white, and his son, who is black. So this is the only reason why anybody cares, because Mike Bonin is white. And honestly, this is one of the reasons why these things are problematic, because Mike Bonin will probably sit up there and act like he don't know that. Yeah, the media purposely missed the point, DIY Queen. If you guys haven't checked out my live stream that I did yesterday, the media never even touched any of that issue about that ongoing lawsuit that's popping off out there in California with those racist Latinos abusing people at work. But then again, all you got to do is just listen to Fat Joe's fat ass, and and everything will make sense. Or listen to Trina. Listen to any of these Latinos in hip hop. Yeah, boning. Yeah, you caught that, Cameron? At one point, Martinez called Bonin a little bitch and referred to his son as a changuito, which means little monkey in Spanish. So, I mean, we should all be outraged. How many times has somebody got called a bitch before? I've been called a bitch. People don't like me. Rob, you old bitch ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, and that's the only reason why anybody cares, because the kid's parents was some white LGBTQ. Everybody, make sure you guys drop some radiation emojis for the rebellious one with the $2 super chat. Appreciate the super chat, bro. The deep truth is they want to kill us all. If you guys agree that they want to kill us all, give me a thumbs up. I kind of agree. I kind of got a different take, but I kind of agree. But one thing I do know that they want to kill is they want to kill our minds. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Jay Fields. She also said Bonin's son had misbehaved on the parade float and needed a beat down. Now, mind you, if you guys listen to these remarks here, she actually references how Karen Bass was there. She actually references how Karen Bass was there. So we should listen to this real quick. Even though, you know, we've heard a lot of this already, you got to keep these things fresh, because if you don't keep them fresh, a lot of times people tend to forget. And honestly, I don't think that anybody should forget about this. This is perfect. She made Hispanic history in Hispanic History Month. You know what I'm saying? She actually hit a triple double. The first woman Latina president of the city council and also the first one to get put out because of being an unapologetic racist. Shout out to Latino people for having a wonderful first 12 days of Hispanic History Month and actually telling the truth about your history.
Is taking the temperature of the council, probably at Mark's request. I think Mark knows sort of the direction that the council's going to head in, and he's trying to take the temperature. I think they're getting two things mixed up. I think they're getting the whole resignation piece with the suspension piece. Those wires are being crossed, and I don't know if it's Curran's the right person to explain things to.
Good, hi.
Yeah, we're half asleep. So I was doing my best. Yeah, I was doing my best last night to explain that the process we took with Jose was one of suspension. It doesn't mess with his paycheck, and he can still collect a paycheck. It's not on us.
That's wrong, Galvin.
That's what I told him. You need to go talk to that white guy. It's not us. It's the white members on this council that will motherfucker you in a heartbeat.
So now that's another thing that I find fascinating. And again, I'm not sitting here caping for white people. I just want to show that these people don't care. Now, we all know that these people of color are politically orchestrated Caucasians. You know what I'm saying? We all know that. And if you didn't know that, you can see it on the thumbnail. People of color, politically orchestrated Caucasians. You know what I'm saying? People with a tan. Now, do you hear how she's talking about the white people on the council? So just understand that these people, they have a plan. They have a goal. You see? I want you guys to pay very close attention to that. But now, mind you, these are the people that the very people that this woman is talking about here, white people are the ones that make all of the policy with these open borders and all of that. But the white media is not saying anything about her anti-white racism. At least according to Tulsi Gabbard. You know, because Tulsi Gabbard said that that's a huge issue in the United States, but she didn't say anything about this phone call. They didn't say anything about this phone call. Yeah, I did see that, Torian. Did you guys see that? They tried to shoehorn the Jays and Armenians into the audio where they clearly spoke ill about black people. Right. They tried to say that it was homophobic too. Did you hear about that, Torian? They said that it was homophobic. Facts, Val. Again, they clearly have an issue. Actually, they understand completely the issue of race. It's just not spoken. But this is their narrative, though. This is what they say. When you start talking about race, they know exactly what race is, because that's when they start babbling, talking about me no black. Oh, you know what race is now? Somebody done messed around and called you black. But me no black, you know about that? Me no negro, you know about that? These people are clowns and a joke. But I tell you one thing that they're not joking about. While Tommy Tuberville, I keep laughing every time I call his ass Tuberville. While his ass is sitting up there talking about black people are coming for your stuff, you're actually missing the people that are actually coming for your stuff, as you can hear in this audio. But this is what they do, though. Pay attention, man. Do you hear what she said? She said, yeah, you can't trust the white people because they'll just stab you in the back. I mean, maybe if you wasn't so damn dumb, you would have woke up and realized that, and the United States would be shaped different. But I mean, I guess, you know, never late than never, or better late than never. But still, regardless, they haven't said anything about this on the news. So pay very close attention about the narratives that they're trying to run. And the reason why they're trying to run this narrative, again, is because it's getting toward the midterms. They want to mess with people. And the media has already shown that they purposely do not feel that black people are very intelligent. So this is what they're doing. They try to hit us with some dumb shit. And then they get triggered when it doesn't work because we're not dumb. Well, guess what? You cannot repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat that black people are all dumb and it'll come true. That's not how it works. I know that people are used to things just bending around reality to be true, to accommodate you, but guess what? We're not doing that.
I don't know if Corinne's the right person to explain things to.
Good, hi.
Yeah, we're half asleep. So I was doing my best. Yeah, I was doing my best last night to explain that the process we took with Jose was one of suspension. It doesn't mess with his paycheck, and he can still collect the paycheck. It's not on us.
That's wrong, Alfred.
That's what I told him. You need to go talk to that white guy. It's not us.
Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to the rebellious one. If you guys can, please make sure that you drop some radiation emojis in the chat and show him some love. And also, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please smash the like button. The rebellious one says, this is racial competition. That's what the evidence shows. Dr. Claude Anderson said that a long time ago. That's what the evidence shows. The evidence shows that every other group of people other than black people are utilizing race-based economics, race-based business practices, race-based real estate practices. That's what the evidence shows. That right there is another reason that we need to be accountable for to ourselves in practicing improper business practices in the United States. If the United States is a corporation and the business is the importation and exportation of white supremacy and racism, knowing that this country has a race-based culture and a race-based product, us trying to do this whole can't we all get along thing. You know, Rodney King was on that can't we all get along shit after them cops beat his damn brains out, which is probably why he wasn't thinking clearly. No, you can't get along with somebody that beats your ass for no reason. You're crazy if you try. Dr. Claude Anderson called that shit inappropriate behavior. He was talking about how black people will get their asses whooped in a police interrogation room and the gun cracked, and the black person is apologizing that the gun cracked. That's that backwards, inverse thought process that's used as a mechanism to continue to keep us at the bottom floor. People need to get out of that. We owe no one no morals, no ethics, no nothing. The only thing we owe is competition and strife. Whether we compete unfairly or not, it doesn't matter. No one is ever worried about competing fair with us. I don't have any ethical boundary or standard at all when it comes to competition, especially when it comes to competition in the real world. I'm going to get what I get by any means necessary. You know who people fear? People fear people that play dirty. You guys remember the Bad Boys, the Detroit Pistons, when they had Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas and Bill Laimbeer and Vinnie Johnson, Dennis Rodman? People feared the Bad Boys because they was out there getting hurt. Laimbeer cut your forehead with one of those sharp elbows. Fear.
It's the white members on this council that will molest you in a heartbeat. So he started naming names. They go, "That you got it. You know who it is? Mike Fear's gonna with this. Jumper's gonna with this. Bob Blumenfield's gonna with this. Polly Paul." That's what they do. So getting back to Marquise, I told Danny, if you want to cut a deal and if you want to make like the boss moves, I would go after the airport. He goes, I love that idea. I said, tell my Grace,
So
Go take
don't
it from his
go,
friend.
don't go.
don't go
eastward,
after, leave
go
him
westward,
alone. Go get the airport from his little brother, that little bitch Bonnet.
You see that? Now, where's all the male content creators that talk about masculine energy? This is some masculine Maria right here. Would you guys agree with me that Nuri Martinez is a masculine Maria? I need some dating content on how to deal with a masculine Maria. That's another reason how you know that these gender war dating content coaches, content creators are full of shit. They only got negative shit to say about one specific kind of women. It's either they talking shit about one specific kind of women or they making blanket statements about a whole bunch of women. But these supposed to be the dudes that get all the females. Your resume and your content does not show that you get all these women, because you should be able to tell me how to deal with these muscle-bound, masculine, testosterone tortilla Marias like her. And I ain't seen no content out there about that. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. No disrespect, but Kevin Samuels said this is the competition. Now you see why it's the competition. These motherfuckers ruthless. Fuck black people and Bonin's a bitch. That's what they out here saying. While they're at Planet Fitness with their 10 peso membership. Lifting weights, putting a brick of cocaine on each shoulder. That's the size of Jason Whitlock's head, and squatting inside the Smith machine to get that Brazilian butt real perky. You know what I'm saying? Stupid as hell.
I go, what is with the Bonnet? What's with Bonnet? And I said, Bonnet thinks he's black. That guy don't think he's black. I go, he thinks he's black. I told her the same thing.
This kid is.
He goes, why are they so close?
And he's from Massachusetts. This kid, the one here. This kid is the dad.
He's black.
All these Latinos
Lo
kids.
trae así during Black History Month, lo lleva al council y lo pone acá en el, remember, lo trae, it's an accessory. When we do the MLK parade.
Just like when.
They used to have those statues
What?
in
Lo trae
plantations.
Wait,
didn't
and
they?
then when Nuri
In the
brings
front.
her little yard bag or the Louis Vuitton bag in places,
There's su negrito, like on the side, and lo trae, ¿verdad? You sit next to it, you don't know the other side. For MLK, for the parade that Herb used to organize, and we need all the council who wanted to join Herb on the float, because he used to do a whole float to be nice. Bonnie would be like, hey, Nuri, are you going to the MLK? Well, Herb invited me, I'll go. Okay, I'm bringing whatever the kid's name is. I'm like, it's like the oddest thing. It's like black and brown on this float. And then there's this white guy with this little black kid who's misbehaved.
Now, let's actually stop right there, right? Because here's another thing that they don't talk about. Here's another thing that they don't talk about. Now, I got a question. She said, here's this black kid with this white guy, and the kid is misbehaved. Let's take all emotions and feelings out of it, and we're going to really dive deep into this. Do you guys think that the little kid was actually acting up? I do. You're a black kid with two fathers that are white. You're starting off in life confused. Your daily scenery is insanity. I'm not surprised the little man was acting out. If I had to go home and I had two white dads and I was a black kid, I would be all kinds of confused. I would be all kinds of mad. Where's my mom at? Shit, where's my dad at? Who are you people? Despite the fact that she said all of this stuff in a derogatory way, I absolutely believe that kid was acting a fool. Oh, it's always a bigger distraction. And the reason why he was probably acting a fool is because kids need to understand their surroundings. They need to have some kind of pattern and repetition. He had nothing that most kids have in his life at his disposal. Oh, absolutely, Derek. Republicans are slick for releasing this at this time. It's probably because what they're trying to do is they're trying to give that last blow to Democrat support so they can try as hard as they can to pull a clean sweep. Yeah, I agree, DIY Queen. The black male behavior is always policed. However, me personally, just because of the environment that this kid was in, I bet you he was acting up. And again, I don't blame the kid. The first people that I blame is where are his parents? Second of all, it's always weird, you know what I'm saying, when people cross culturally adopt. I don't think that that's always the best situation. And then on top of the cross cultural adoption, you're dealing with LGBTQ as if that's a normal family parent situation. It is not. You know what I'm saying? It's not. Kids still respond to biological prompts and different things like that. Kids are not totally programmed the way that adults are. Adults are too far gone, but kids still have some of their natural, raw human animal instincts. And the raw human animal instincts is that a kid is not supposed to have two parents. Kids are conditioned to not have that suckling instinct, to where a child has an urge to eat and they want to get milk from the mother's breast. That's going to cause automatic confusion if you have two fathers. That is biology. You cannot get around biology. You cannot get around science. There's all kinds of deterrents that occur to stop this kind of thing. One of them, shout out to monkeypox. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the kid probably is already dealing with issues. And because I think that the kid was already dealing with issues, I think that's one of the reasons why he probably was acting out. He probably acts out all the time. Look at all of the other people like that. Look at Madonna. Her kids' brains are destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Look at Angelina Jolie. Her kids' brains are destroyed. This kid's brain is probably going to eventually be destroyed. Look at the pattern. Yeah, I agree, Donna. I agree 100%. So I don't think that the kid is a bad kid per se. I just think that he has confusing stimuli around him, and that is not a good thing for a child. That's something that causes behavioral issues with children. Children need stability, they need normalcy. Something this abnormal would definitely, yeah, look at Dwayne Wade's son. Fact, Torian. So that's what I'm saying when I say that. I'm not saying that I think that the kid was a bad kid or he was inherently bad, or you know what I'm saying, like that Martinez was right for criticizing him. I just think look at the actual situation. And honestly, the very reason why the kid would probably be behaving oddly is the same reason why the story got attention in the first place. The only reason this story got any attention was because the parent is an LGBTQ white parent. That's it. Other than that, it's the same thing as anytime there's an issue. Nobody cares. And I agree 100%. I agree 110%. At the same time, it's not her place for her to say she would take him around the corner and beat him. Absolutely not. On top of him referring to a monkey. Facts. And yeah, and you can see this all the time. When you go to the grocery store, man, look. Have y'all ever seen those little leashes that used to be popular that people used to put their kids on? Who was doing that? And I don't know if she has kids or not. Exactly. And that's what the Mormons say. The Mormons say that black people are inherently evil. And you can see that evangelical talking point, it's all in conservative and Republican circles. And that's true, Derek. A lot of 2-year-olds act out. It's called the terrible twos. You know what I'm saying? And you never know, Jay. But I'll tell you what, you have to look at it and ask yourself the question, if you see a child growing up in a family where there's 2 dads, what do you expect the child to be? How do you expect the child to operate? You know what I mean? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not smashed that like button, please make sure you guys take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys can, please make sure you share the video out. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you go ahead and hit that bell icon twice.
Este niño has they're not doing they're not doing, the kid is bouncing off the effing walls on the floor, practically tipping it over. There's nothing you can do to control him. Parece changuito. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm over here trying to parent this kid. I'm like, you can't do that. I said no. And Mike is like, I'm like, you're not teaching your kid anything. It's me and Karen Bass on the floor trying to check this little kid. Me, Karen Bass, y la esposa de Marquise, Carrie. And we're all looking at each other because we're the 3 women on the floor. Like, this kid's going to tip us over. Because he's literally hanging on the rails.
Well, you can't let him off because the spectators will beat his ass.
Yeah.
They're raising him like a little white kid, which I was like, this kid needs a beat down. Like, let me take him around the corner and then I'll bring him back.
Yeah.
¿Sí me entiendes? Ven para
It's
acá.
a pinch.
Yeah.
But yes, he's the fourth.
So anyways, getting back to redistricting.
Folks, like, was that going? He did call me. He wants to have breakfast with me.
What's taking him so long?
I just said, hey, we need to talk.
Joe supported him from the.
All right, don't worry, I got you.
Yeah.
So you'll start seeing them line up.
He's with the last.
Isaac was the first one.
Let me ask this, Gil. So if you go in more into K-Town, right? Are those more Latino voters?
Yep.
They're right.
K-Town's a misnomer.
Okay.
It's called K-Town, but because it's got a lot of Koreans, but it's all Latinos.
So those are the ones you'd like to pick up?
Yeah.
And who
But not all of K-Town.
Who do they belong to
No.
right now? Do they belong to
Right now, they're in 10, all of it. And Nikia wants to play for K-Town. I said, that's not gonna happen.
It's the northern
Because I
part
didn't
of
want to
the
beef with Mark. So don't beef with Mark, let him take, and that serves
But now
us,
this is the beef with Mike.
Pero mira. it serves us to not give her all of K-Town.
Yeah.
Because if you do, that solidifies her renters district, and that is not a good thing for any of us. You have to keep her on the fence.
Yeah.
You have to make her work for
Visualize
it.
this, Kevin. I'll go around, right?
All right.
Lafayette Park, right?
Lafayette Park,
Right here.
right.
You just go a little further here,
K-Town, ¿qué más?
To
go
Vermont.
to 6 Vermont.
But that's where like UF2W is at. That's where the pipe trains are at.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
That's
So
a little.
we pick that up.
Chateau Place or
Yeah,
Chateau.
yeah, yeah.
Going to couple
Lafayette
blocks
Park,
down,
sorry,
IHOP.
Lafayette Park.
Going
It's
down
in
to
Korea
What's
now.
Vermont? Yeah, that's called K-Town.
Yes.
I see a lot of little short, dark people.
Yeah, puro
Yeah.
Oaxacan, puro Oaxacan Koreans. Not even like Kevin, little ones.
I was like, no, I don't know where these people are from. I was like, I don't know what village they came, how they got here, but
And
So
black
let-
and orange shoes.
whatever.
So one,
Some
one,
bills.
I get what we have to do, right? Just massage to create districts that benefit you all,
Yep.
right, and the future.
But
But we gotta figure out Mark's seat too,
Mhm.
you know,
And I'm
that
gonna pick
benefits you
different.
3.
Is if the African Americans look at this, now that he might or may not be suspended, I don't know what's gonna happen. I think he should be, but anyhow, if he goes away,
You mean resign?
not suspended.
No, here's.
You're right, I think, yeah, there is a difference.
If I may,
If he resigns, hold on, if he resigns and the African Americans look at this as a hostile takeover because he's gone, we'll have to figure that out, because politically they're gonna come after him. I think no matter what happens, Bill, we're gonna have to fix it in our house.
Yes.
So they've come up with options. The whole thing is push.
Man, this sounds like a scene from Godfather, doesn't it? This sounds like a scene from Godfather, doesn't it? This is the way that these people are politicking, trying to get power. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys think that anybody in the Congressional Black Caucus is making moves like this? Now, listen, this lady, I mean, is this El Chapo's wife under a different identity or something? She's ready. She's been listening to Memphis Bleak. Mind right, money right, ready for war. And she's going to go right back to this agenda. Or either she's going to be pulling the strings from behind the scenes. This woman is a diabolical, criminal-minded woman. When I tell you guys that these people, this is what Dr. Claude Anderson was talking about, man. People better get on their square. Now, people always want to ask these questions. Well, you know, they're not doing anything for black people or this, that, and the other. Okay, this is why. This is how. And as you can see, Karen Bass is in deep with this. And if you don't think she's ever had these kind of conversations with Karen Bass, and Karen Bass will sit up there drinking a martini with her, and Karen Bass will sit up there drinking what do you call that? Some tequila with her, a margarita. Girl, they ain't gonna them black people ain't gonna do nothing anything anyway. Girl, go ahead and y'all can have this block and y'all can have that block. Go ahead, because you know I hate to say it, but you know how people are. I hate to say it, but you know they ain't gonna do nothing anyway. Look how long black people been out here in LA. I mean, if they couldn't do nothing for this time, I mean, y'all moving it. I mean, you know, how much you want to bet that that's how the black politicians sound? See, that's one of the reasons why I be telling people, man, you got to be careful about doing that whole black people thing to when you're talking to people that aren't black. They take that shit and weaponize it. Karen Sita here, Karen Sita Martinez, she'll go back to her little cartel meeting while they got a little Santa Muerte statue there, burning the candles. You know what I'm saying? Hoping that they don't get caught, because that's the ritual that they do. They have the Saint Death altar. You know what I'm saying? And put a bunch of pictures on it and burn it, making sure that they don't get in trouble. And they'll say, "Greetings, familia." So I talked to Senora Bass today. Senora Bass says the miates, the negritos, they're not going to do nothing. They're not going to do nothing. So Senora Bass, she's an ally. It's that way with all the black Democrats. If there was a fly on the wall with a cell phone or a tape recorder, they could get dirt like this on all the black Democrats. That's why when black people like Marcel Dixon happen to walk up to somebody and ask them about reparations, they run. They don't want to be seen making a conversation like that, because they know that conversation to get back to the cartel. Nuri Martinez ain't happy about it. She has some of them Serenos or some of them Norteños or some of them Florencia Firestone motherfuckers come ride on you and shit. Some La M.A. Come get your ass. Meanwhile, calling Karen Bass El Stupido. Right. Somebody, you know, she's a mean abuela. You know she was kicking some ass. She's got more incentive to chop up the neighborhoods and to get all the political power. She's got more ambition to do that than the men. You see, she's the shot caller. She's the shot caller.
Both of them. And then we'll have to figure it out in-house. That's it.
That's
So-
everything.
So amend it, make changes now. This commission is gone rogue. And for rogue, and they're useless at this point. To me, just move them both, and then we'll figure it out from there. But if you push a whack map, you're gonna end up with a disaster on the council. So push both.
Well, the other thing,
That's all I'm asking.
is that
If you guys are able to hear, give me a thumbs up. If you guys are not able to hear, give me a thumbs down.
us rescuing them? Your comadre, right?
I'm not arguing with you about that.
I know who you know.
¿Quién es su who's your comadre?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't marry, right?
But it's
She's not our
not-
ally. She's not gonna help us. Her district is not a district we can count on.
So you're saying that's the one to put in the blender and chop up left and right?
But that's what they did.
Yeah,
But
why not?
Put them in the blender and chop them up left and right. Man, they talking like they finna leave people's body parts all over the desert in Suarez. They sounding like they finna chop somebody up and put them all over the desert in Suarez. Sounding like the Salamanca cartel on Breaking Bad. You better be careful. Some of these motherfuckers may have a nephew like Tuco. You're done.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't marry, right?
but it's
She's not our ally. She's not gonna help us. Her district is not a district we can count on.
So you're saying that's the one to put in the blender and chop up left and right?
But that's what they did.
Yeah, why
But
not?
it also impacts everybody else. It impacts the valley, which me, and I'm not cool with that.
Yeah.
It impacts him, whether you like Mitch or not, it impacts him, it impacts you, it impacts Curran. The whole point here is,
Another
how do we
legacy.
stabilize the valley?
How do we stabilize the valley? She's talking about I want to say San Fernando Valley, I think. What do you guys think? This is how politics are being done in Washington also. The closed door meetings between Biden. This is what's being done. This is what's being done, y'all. Shout out to my man James Sumler. What up with it, RG Titan? Make sure you guys smash that like button, and also please give some radiation emojis to the Rebellious One for rejoining the membership. Rebellious One has been a member for a long time, but this channel had became demonetized, and now the monetization is back. So I think I think it should show the Rebellious One with a older badge. So shout out to the Rebellious One, and anybody. The memberships definitely help. So please consider a membership. If you want to become a member, all you got to do is either click that join button if it appears on your screen, or click the links in the chat when they come up, and it's only 99 cents. It definitely helps. The goal that I have is to get 1,000 members, and we can do it. So if you guys are able to help your boy out, 99 cents, you won't even miss it. All right.
The kid that's running from HRE, he ain't on your side either.
No.
Oh, no, I know.
Hugo Soto.
What does he run?
That's
Mitch. So her point on Mitch is, I just interrupted her, but I apologize for that. But I want to make sure that we protect Mitch,
Allies.
because this guy is your opponent.
See, now this is what I'm saying. These people are in here playing chess. California domination is the only solution. They talking that shit. West Coast domination is the only solution. They talking that shit. I sound extreme or I sound like a radical when I say that. Everybody else is doing it, just like slavery. Everybody else is doing it. Just saying.
He's I got one. The one I know and the one I don't know.
Yes. Yeah.
I got one devil and another devil.
West Coast domination is the only solution. You know what I'm saying? Just another day casually talking about dismemberment, you know. We just chop them up and put them in the blender because that's how we get down. Now, you would think that that's something that you would hear on the right wing. Here's the right wing. GOP Senator Tommy Tuberville promotes racist narrative about black people and crime at Trump rally. Is anybody shocked? If you're shocked to hear something like this, give me a thumbs up. It sounds to me like they need to get Karen Sita on their team. You know what I'm saying? And I agree. And my thing is, Rebellious One, they've been at war. It's just that they've been at war with people who didn't realize that there was a war going on against them. You see what I'm saying? There's a war going on against people. And a lot of people ain't aware of it. People need to get aware.
Justice and equality are growing louder in America. With those calls comes a renewed interest in reparations. Reparations are the act of making amends to someone or...
They're talking about a renewed interest in reparations. There's never been a disinterest in reparations. The only people that have been disinterested in reparations are the people that would be scared of the competition that reparations would form. But again, pay very close attention to how they keep trying to frame their own narrative. And that's one of the things that you're going to see. You're going to start seeing the white media start just overdriving people with reparation talk. They're going to just be overdriving people with reparation talks. There's going to be so much talk about reparations, it's going to make you sick. And the reason why they're going to flood the media, the radio with all that kind of talk is because what they want to do is they want to be able to take control of the narrative because they probably feel like it's out of control right now. And they want to dilute it and then try to wear you down and get you to agree to some nonsense. So when it comes to this kind of stuff, be very careful where you're getting your information from. Don't get it from the blue black media, you know what I'm saying, that the Young Turks is trying to create. Don't get it from the blue black media that the Young Turks is trying to create with Dr. Rashad Ritchie and Nina Turner. You know what I'm saying? Because that's going on out there. That's the new thing. The new thing is that they're getting rid of these clowns like Don Lemon, and they're going to start getting people that sound a little bit more fringe. They've been studying the internet. They're going to get people that sound a little bit more fringe for fake opposition. You guys can see Roland Martin is trying to pivot like that. His tubby ass is trying to act like, you know, this is the kind of shit he's been saying all the time and shit. Yeah, it is. It's the Young Turks version of the Black News Channel. And everybody sees how these manufactured black media outlets, these white manufactured black media outlets, they don't work. It's because they're not authentic. Everybody knows the difference between some fake shit and some real shit.
Or a group of people who have been wronged. Germany paid billions of dollars in reparations to Holocaust victims or their families and to Israel after the Nazi atrocities of World War II.
And one thing that they're not saying here is that the United States also paid reparations to that particular group of people. Did you guys know that? If you guys haven't seen all of the money that's been paid out, make sure that you guys check out my All Money Ain't Good Money series. And also make sure that you check out TD Hip Hop Media, because TD Hip Hop Media has a good documented commentary series that shows all of the money that the United States puts out. They could have been taking care of this debt that they owe a long time ago, but they choose not to. Now, here's my question for everybody. Why would they choose not to? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 34 people watching. Shout out and thank you to all 34 people that are watching. And we have 29 likes. If everybody could take a moment and smash that like button, that would be great. And also, thank you to everybody that's been commenting after the streams, because that definitely is helping the streams to get more views. So keep that up. I definitely appreciate that. So we only played 20 seconds of this. I want you guys to make sure that you take notes of who all was given paid, who all was getting paid. And as you hear people that are getting paid, make sure that you put it in the comment section, because this is the stuff that they don't talk about. We just make our own reality up in these meetings.
For racial justice and equality are growing louder in America. With those calls comes a renewed interest in reparations. Reparations are the act of making amends to someone or a group of people who have been wronged. Germany paid billions of dollars in reparations to Holocaust victims or their families and to Israel after the...
Now, make no mistake. I want you guys to hear me out on this. There is no new interest in reparations. That's not true. There's a new interest in how to maintain control of the black vote. And in doing their research and all of the information that YouTube has sold them about black people and black people's viewing behaviors and all of this, you know, what kind of content that they watch, you know what I'm saying, who they're watching, the comments that people put into the comment section, all of that, right? They think that they found a new way to be able to control people. That's what it is. So they know that black people have an increased interest in reparations, and they say, you know what? We're going to get ahead of this narrative right now. We're going to get hold of this little problem that we have right now, and we're going to take this and we're going to control this narrative. And I'm going to tell you something. They are not going to take control of this. They're not going to take control of anything. We're talking about people that can't even control their own bowel and bladder, let alone take control of the narrative. But that's what they're doing. That's the point of all of this. So make sure that everybody is aware of that and do not be allowed to get steered in the wrong direction. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, with the Rebellious One as a member, we now have 20 members on this channel, and we will start doing members only live streams next week. Now, on the other channel, just a quick, you know what I'm saying, I will be back to streaming and posting videos on that channel regularly, not just the members only stuff, after November 16th. And I got to agree with Rebellious One. I believe that reparations is a setup too. However, the only reason why I support it is because, for one, it's something that's owed. It's something that's owed. But I do believe that any way that they try to prepare reparations, it would absolutely be a setup. I have to agree with you. If you guys agree with the Rebellious One, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with Rebellious One, give me a thumbs down. But I agree with that.
Nazi atrocities of World War II. And in 1988, the U.S. paid more than 80,000 Japanese Americans who were held in internment camps during World War II. They each got $20,000. But African Americans have never gotten reparations for their 246 years of slavery. Lawmakers have introduced bills in Congress to study reparations and whether it's possible, but most have never gotten very far. In 2008, the House of Representatives...
Now, mind you, this is the only time when studies are necessary to provide restitution. Let me ask everybody in the comment section a question. When were studies done when any reparations were paid elsewhere? I mean, what kind of a study do you have to do? You can look at the United States map. There's still places that have racist names. As a matter of fact, if you're a foundational Black American, more than likely, your last name is a racist last name. It's not your natural last name. It's not from a loving family. It's from people that owned you. People that owned your ancestors. So let's just stall on that for a quick second and let's try to figure that out. Why is it that when it comes to dealing with reparations, a study is needed? We don't need to study anything. Didn't you study your books when you went to school and learned history? With the watered down history that they teach in school, the nonsensical information that they provide is enough to justify slavery reparations. That's not even talking about Jim Crow reparations. That's not talking about sundown reparations. That's not talking about paying the 3 surviving victims of the Tulsa race riot their money, because they still haven't done that. Those people are going to court, the Senate meetings every day in wheelchairs. I got to agree with James. There's never been an intention to give us anything, and there's not an intention to give us anything now, which is one of the reasons why, in my opinion, we have to take what we need. The same way they did. The same way they took this country, we need to take our reparations.
issued an apology for slavery. And in 2019, bills to study and develop a proposal for reparations were introduced into both houses of Congress. But the legislation languished. Recently, there's been...
Is that what happened? The legislation languished? What actually happened to the legislation? Again, this is a white media outlet, USA Today, promoting a white narrative. This is what they want you to hear, so you feel good. So you have some kind of nonsensical justification. That's not what happened. The black politicians killed it because they're cowards. That's what happened. They don't stand for anything. Howard University needs to pay reparations. The state of North Carolina needs to pay reparations for their eugenics experiments.
Been renewed interest, like the Harriet Tubman Community Investment Act, which the Maryland General Assembly is considering. The Brookings Institution says it could be a possible blueprint to what reparations could look like for Black Americans.
The only way that we're going to get what it is that we need is to take it. I've done a study. And from the findings of my study, it shows that the United States never keeps its word. It also shows that the United States will do whatever, anything necessary to maintain power and control. I've also done a study, and that study shows that the United States system of capitalism needs a group as a bottom floor and business base. In order to maintain its race-based class system. I've done a study that political parties here in the United States promise things to certain groups of people and deliver things to other groups of people. That's what my studies have found. And my studies have found that the only way to secure your survival is through dominating the entire world and having complete control over all of the resources to make sure that you can never be cheated or harmed again. That's what my study shows. That's what my study shows. And my study was an actual study. It wasn't a study meant to appease anybody. This is a study meant to comfort white people, to make sure that they feel that they're not losing anything by black people getting something that they're owed, which is one of the reasons why the United States will never be able to appropriately, properly pay out anything. Because the United States is not here to service us. And the people that the United States is trying to service, those are the ones who are going to get serviced first. And they need to get serviced emotionally. That's one of the reasons why they have all these anti-CRT laws and all of this stuff. They don't want to hear. They don't want to hear about it. They don't want to hear about it. Nobody was a slave alive today. They don't care about your parents. They don't care about your grandparents. Anybody who's still got parents that are alive today, anybody still got grandparents that were alive today, they were harmed by these things. And that harm that they endured is a large part of why you are where you are right now. Even if you have the best situation in the world, you could have been better. People always talk about, well, what about LeBron James? What about LeBron James? LeBron James could possibly be an owner of multiple NBA teams. When people talk about idiotic black celebrities and idiotic black millionaires, what they're telling you is that there's a floor on your success. That floor or that ceiling is white supremacy. And the byproduct of white supremacy is white privilege. Again, United States Corporation of America is a corporation that imports and exports white supremacy talking points, anti-black racism, global racism, South African apartheid, the royal family, businesses, athletics, the NFL, the NBA, businesses that focus on racial stereotypes, the athletic black male. Well, we'll make money out of that by using these people to entertain you. The creative nature of black people, hip hop, cinema. We'll use these stereotypes of people making music and being on beat to make more money for ourselves. All of the businesses where all the white people point at and say that you're making all this money, so racism can't exist. Those businesses are businesses where black people are turned into racial caricatures. Tell me something. What business or what supply chain in the control economy do black people have 100% total control and ownership of? Where do we own the resource mines all the way down to the end product? Nothing. Not even in athletics, because in athletics, we don't even own the training companies. We don't own any of the schools that produce the athletes who are the inputs that go into professional athletics and contribute to the end products, which are shoes, jerseys, ticket sales. We don't own any start to finish supply chain here in the United States. I'm not in the I got $1 million industry. I'm in the power industry. That's the business that everybody needs to be in.
Under this act, the descendants of slaves in Maryland could receive the following repayments. Tracing the descendants of slaves will be one major challenge. Unlike victims of the Holocaust and Japanese internment camps, there are not a lot of paper trails for the descendants of slavery.
Whose fault is that? We just sit there and say this matter-of-factly, like, oh, we just don't have the records. Oh, well. They don't have the records, but they still got the money. Shout out to my man KO Kid Fit. What up with it, bro? They don't have the records, but they still got the money, though. Whose problem is that? And let me tell you something. They're not telling the truth about that. They do still have all of the family trees and information. They have all of that information. You can go to the Smithsonian. You can go to Civil War sites. And you know who the best people are? You know who the people are that actually have this information? We saw how much Trump likes to, keep documents. All of those Confederate Southern Adosos, they all have the records. As a matter of fact, there's still some people who work as maids to some of these Southern Adosos on their plantations. And the reason why they work as maids is because generations of those families were slaves to those people. They have all of the records. They have them all. There is nothing challenging about this. And my thing is, if they don't want to give it up, then they need to have it extracted. They've got every single record. Because again, slavery was a business. Slaves were used for business. You guys don't think that they have all of the old tax records? You guys don't think that they had that? You guys don't think that they don't have all the old income statements, all the old invoices? We find out that more and more white people's families own slaves. Shout out to Ben Affleck, another good American Adoso who shamefully tried to hide his family's past of being vile, hair in inappropriate places, slave owners. He wanted to hide it when it was found out. They all know. And it's not hard to find it out. I'll tell you one thing that you can do. They do all of that genetic testing. I saw that there's now an office unit with a genetic testing machine that's about the size of a Xerox copy machine. That's how you can tell that I'm old. You remember back in the day, everybody used to call the Xerox copy machines a Xerox copy machine. Now they got all kinds of copy machines, but my old ass still calls it a Xerox machine. So what? They can genetically test people. Now, if you can genetically test people and link those genetic tests to tribes, to civilizations that are shrinking or civilizations that aren't here anymore, you can definitely link those to people here in the United States, their last names. Somebody mentioned the Library of Congress. Facts. You think Philip Morris, the tobacco company, has records of the slaves they used to have? I think they did. Now, I guarantee you that the Freedom of Information Act in the United States will not allow you to gain access to those kind of records for that specific reason. All of those Southern Adosos like Ron DeSantis, Gregory Abbott, Kevin Stitt, Marjorie Taylor Greene, all of those are families that come from slave backgrounds, slave ownership backgrounds, proud American slave owners, which is one of the reasons why they're so entrenched into this idea of states' rights to Jim Crow, states' rights to slavery. Those Southern white families like Colonel Sanders, Kentucky Fried Chicken eating ass, they have all of that information. All of the most racist white people that you can find in the United States. Not only do they have a family tree, but they got a family tree of all of your family that they hung from trees. And so this clown, Tommy Tuberville, says they're coming for you. We are.
The census didn't count Black Americans until 1870, and unlike immigrant groups who have their history documented at Ellis Island, there's no central historical database for the descendants of slaves.
So now pay very close attention to how the white media is now throwing around the descendants of slaves terms. They keep fucking around. We might have to make some new descendants of slaves. Honestly, if you ask me, that's probably the only way anything will ever happen. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm all about that, because they really showed what they're not capable of on January 6th. January 6th was nothing but Elmer Fudd and Boss Hogg and Yosemite Sam and all your favorite cartoon bigots running around with muskets running into each other. White people should know, you know what I'm saying? The Manhattan Institute should know. Ron DeSantis should know. All of these Southern motherfuckers should know that there is a new generation of Black people that are not Black, buck-broken, civil rights, fossilized Christians. There is a new generation of ruthless heathens on the rise that don't give a fuck about your racism. All you racists out there need to understand that that's nothing more than fuel in our combustion engines. And if you thought that Birth of a Nation was scary, pissing us off is even more scary. That's what they need to understand. And another thing that they need to understand is that you notice how people just aren't outraged anymore. See, like, if people were actually observant, what they would understand is that when people stop coming to them to try to deal with a problem, it's because there's something going on in the background. There's something going on in the background. Boo! Hold that purse. Alabama Republican Tommy Tuberville pushed a racist narrative about Black people and crime at a campaign rally hosted by former President Donald Trump on Saturday night. Now, remember, former President Donald Trump said that people like this are good people because, you know, there's good people on both sides of racism. There's good racists and there's bad people who are victims of racism. Right? Of course, that's Republican logic, right? As Republicans pressed crime as an election issue, Tuberville contended Democrats back reparations for descendants of slavery because they think the people who do the crime are owed that. So this is the white narrative, and since white people haven't come out in mass, the ADL hasn't come out in mass, this is a less offensive thing to say than what Kanye said about the Jays, because this is something that everyone believes is true. They believe in this like they believe in God. That's cool, because we should show them the wrath of God. Man, they believe in this like they believe in the Lord. The people that commit the crime are owed reparations. I think that the people that commit the crimes are in jail. I think that the United States was a crime. The people that committed the crime of the United States, they've made money. The people that commit the crime. He's speaking on behalf of white people, and they cheered him on. We'll be watching the cheering. If that's what you want, then that's what you should get. If you want to sit there and say that every single black person in the United States is a criminal, this is government mandate. If every black person right now decided to just start committing crime, the government said it. You said we're all criminals. You said it, motherfucker. Every time black people hear something like this, should all just quit our jobs en masse. You like being right so much, we'll make you right. No one's scared of cream color racism. Cream color racism is the result of fear. If you want to say all black people are criminals, fuck it. Let's get it in. Facts, Torian. They are not soft on crime, Tuberville said. They're pro-crime. They want crime. They want crime because they want to take over what you got. We do. And we will. We're going to take what you got. And what you thought you were going to get. Every time you think you're about to take something, we're going to be there. We're going to step on your fingers so that it sounds like we're stepping on glass and take that shit you thought you were about to have. And then clear your throat way deep down in your diaphragm and hawk the biggest loogie of mucus that you can on that person and then turn around and walk away. Now, we're going to take over what you got. Tuberville was right. Tuberville was right. And Tuberville gave us the idea. I mean, nobody wanted to take over everything that you had. We just want reparations. But, I mean, since we're criminals and criminals just take shit, well, shit, why not take everything? We're going to take everything. World domination is the only solution. They want to control what you have. Yep, because they've been controlling the world for a very long time. It's time for somebody else to do it because they did a horrible job. Facts. And the reason why they felt that we're out for revenge is because they're putting their thought process and projecting it onto us, the violent insanity. So guess what? Fuck it. Black morality towards other people should go out of the window. Yeah, we're coming for what you got. All of it. Every single thing. We're coming for your neighborhoods. We're going to be playing basketball outside at 3 o'clock in the morning with Ice Cube loud as hell. When you got to get up and go to work, we're going to be doing that. I'm going to get as close to your grandmother as I possibly can in the elevator while I'm wearing all black with my hat to the back and some sunglasses. As close as I possibly can. I'm going to go into a nice, peaceful store and bang on the counter as loud as I possibly can and say, hey, can you show me where the seasoning aisle is, please? I'm going to scare the shit out of you. It's going to be spook Halloween every single day. I got to check it out, Torian. And that's the kind of time that everybody needs to be on, these psychological games. This is what you fear. They want reparations because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. We're the people that do the crime. Because all black people commit crime. Look at this white guy's face. This could be your boss. This could be your neighbor. This motherfucker thinks that you're a criminal. Val said that they don't have a seasoning aisle. Facts. Trump was in Nevada campaigning for U.S. Senate candidate Adam Lexalt and gubernatorial candidate Joe Lombardo ahead of the November 8th midterm election. A call for reparations for descendants of African slaves. Now, I don't know why they're calling it the descendants of African slaves. Does that make any sense? Why are they calling this the descendants of African slaves? And that's a fact, James. They are the criminals. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, Rebellious One been holding it down. Y'all need to show him some love. Drop some radiation emojis for another $2 super chat. Becoming the very thing they fear so much. I think that that's what we need to perfect. We need to absolutely become the very thing that they fear so much. What is one of the things that they feared? They feared people becoming intelligent. That's one of the reasons why they made it illegal to read. Illegal to get an education. So people need to be as intellectually competitive and informed as possible. Never back down on your stances. Always stand firm in your conviction. That's what they fear. And then you can be dramatic and theatrical like me. That always adds a little bit of fun to it. They don't want you to understand the way that the Constitution works so that you can exercise your rights. I've always said that. Black people need to learn how to develop that Karen energy. If black people had Karen energy, the massacre that took place in Buffalo might not have happened. If somebody said, what's this weird ass Chad doing walking around the store looking like a defective G.I. Joe action figure? Somebody get this motherfucker up out of here. Nah, but that's not how black people think. Black people will look at another black person on some weird shit at times. Some of us do that, not all. And look right past the person that's got an AR-15 under their shirt, ready to blow up your grandparents. Because that's one thing that they love doing, is doing things to our elderly, which is one of the reasons why all of our ancestors met the demises that they met, because it was entertainment. I think we should come up with a new sport. I think the new sport should be called Become a Nightmare to a Neighbor Near You. That's what I think. That's what I think. Now, pay very close attention to this. A call for reparations for descendants of African slaves has been around for decades and has grown in recent years. Reparations could involve an apology for slavery, payments, land grants, and more. Honestly, I think we need to just go to war and win. I don't think we need to be asking for anything anymore. War doesn't have to be physical. War can be economic. You see, China's been wearing the United States down with economic warfare for decades now. I don't think that that's a bad strategy. Black people need to sanction proof themselves like how Russia sanction proof itself. Because the United States has weaponized sanctions against us. Before he was elected in Congress in 2020, Tuberville coached football for over a decade at Auburn University, among other universities. So now this is somebody who works with black people, mainly black men, and he literally was fulfilling a plantation fantasy, which is what a lot of these old liver-spotted coaches think that they're doing. I want you guys to make sure that you understand that before he was elected to Congress in 2020, Tuberville coached football for over a decade at Auburn University, among other universities. In a statement Monday, the NJJCP president Derek Johnson called out Tuberville's remarks as flat out racist. And again, these organizations like the NJJCP and all of this nonsense, you know what I'm saying? Like, people need to step away from that. People need to step away from the NJJCP. The NJJCP does not represent anything that we need to get done. The NJJCP is such a joke. They had Rachel Dolezal as a high-ranking official for a while. Another thing that needs to be done is that people need to just flat out rail these organizations. Listen, this is illegitimate. Nobody cares about this bullshit, and the NAACP hasn't done a damn thing. They're garbage. Go serve exactly what it is that you have in your name. Colored people. We got this. That's what people need to say about the NAAJCP. And I think people need to start calling it the NAAJCP too. His words promote a centuries-old lie about black people that throughout history have resulted in the most dangerous policies and violent attacks on our community. And see, the problem is that we're not attacking people. The problem is that we're not attacking people. We need to get some tiki torches and pitchforks. These people feel freely emboldened to just attack a black person. Just like how we have sundown towns. The sundown towns, you know, those niggers better not come here. We need to have, this is what'll happen to your ass towns. With a bunch of people who fucked around and found out as the welcome to this town sign. This is the fuck around town. Because you're going to fuck around and find out what happens if you think you're going to attack us because some old ass washed up Chad got you riled up at a Trump rally. So, you know, enjoy your sundown town. Welcome to the first fuck around town. The old Negroes weren't on that. Maybe people are starting to think about creating fuck around towns because the black gun ownership is up. Shout out to my black legal firearms owners. We've seen this before from the far right, and we've seen what they can do when they take power. Yeah, the entire United States is a result of the far right taking power. The entire country. Then he pointed to the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol, saying the real criminals may be in Tuberville's orbit. The real criminals are Tuberville's ancestors. GOP Representative Don Bacon of Nebraska said on NBC News Meet the Press on Sunday that he did not find the comments racist, which again is another reason why white people's opinions of anything racism cannot be trusted and are not legitimate. If you literally, so if what Tuberville said wasn't racist, then what was racist about what Kanye West said? Again, the reason why white people get away with this is because they'll say that it's not racist because it's true. So basically what this person from Nebraska said is that it's not racist because it's true. And this was on NBC News. So NBC News had just substantiated that they believe the same anti-black racist narrative that all the other mainstream media propagates and believes. Now, here's my question. Is anybody surprised by that? I'm not surprised one bit. He said Tuberville needs to be more polite. I don't think he needs to be more polite. I think he needs to go to the blackest place in the United States. And when I say the blackest place in the United States, I'm not talking about the hood, because we know that in a lot of places, in a lot of hoods, a lot of people are buck broken, degenerate, just completely brain gone that wouldn't know what to do anyway. I'm talking about he needs to go to some place that has a majority of people who have a B1 mindset and say that kind of thing. Not to the hood where everybody it'll be the same as back in the ancient times when white people would show up somewhere and stupid motherfuckers would lay down their weapons and start praying to them and shit because they have white skin. I ain't talking about that shit. I'm talking about some motherfuckers that'll show you what time it is. You need to come around those kind of people and say that kind of shit. That's what you need to do. Again, white people push this narrative that black people are so intimidated by racism. You will fuck around and find out. No one's intimidated of racism. No one cares. Little known secret. Most of us think you're all racist to begin with anyway. It's just like old age. Some people show it, and some people don't. No one has ever said, oh, don't fuck with that person because they're racist. No one's ever said that because no one cares. Because we'll fuck your ass up if we need to, if you try to harm us with that racism. So no one's worried about that shit. White people need to figure out a new fear tactic. Nobody is under control by racism anymore. That shit is a done deal. It's an extinct control tactic. It's a joke. Nowadays, when we see racism, we just assume that you're inbred. Or that you didn't graduate 4th grade. That's the assumption. The assumption is that you're a complete idiot whose mother and father are probably brother and sister, which is one of the reasons why you were born with mental issues. That's what we think. So this is Bacon right here, Don Bacon, representative of Nebraska, being on code. I'm not going to say he's being racist. He didn't say that he's not racist. What he said was, I'm not going to say he's being racist. But I wouldn't use that language. Be more polite. I don't need anybody to be polite. I don't need white people to define what it is that I can and can't tolerate. I can tolerate the best of them. But then when I come with my rebuttal for you saying that all of us are racist, don't cry. Do not cry when that rebuttal slaps you across your face. Don't cry about it. Don't try to say, oh, you're a black supremacist. You're anti-white race. Nah, because you just said that we're all criminals and everybody cheered you on and there's no ongoing effort to try to correct that statement. As a matter of fact, people are so what they're saying here is that it's not racist to say that all black people are criminals. This is America, ladies and gentlemen. Again, nobody's coming out disavowing this. Nobody's running around putting a microphone in white people's faces talking about, do you denounce this statement from this member of your community? Nobody's doing that. So now here it says former South Carolina State Representative Bakari Sellers called out Tuberville for his statements. Bakari Sellers is a clown. This was all Bakari Sellers had to say. Tommy Tuberville can go to hell. Yeah, that was really impactful, Bakari. Bronze the guy said, I would love to meet a black supremacist. Facts. A black supremacist. Now, that would really scare the shit out of some people, wouldn't it? Somebody should make a YouTube channel called Black Supremacist. Or a YouTube channel called Black Supremacy Think Tank. And all we do is talk shit about Republican politicians all day. Just get on StreamYards all day long and just call them all kinds of names. Run their families and shit. Talk about their grandparents and how they used to own and fuck slaves. We should, you know how they came up with the racial slur? motherfucker. You know, that's why white people say it different than black people. Motherfucker is actually a racial slur, and it goes back to slave breeding. We should start calling white people slave fuckers. Hey, slave fucker, wouldn't be no light-skinned motherfuckers like me if y'all wasn't busy fucking slaves. I think we should start calling that dirty-ass slave fucker. And then my personal favorite, Adoso. Jason Shitlock can tell you who is a black supremacist. Jason Shitlock can't even eat an appropriate diet to keep his BMI in place. Yeah, shout out to Torian Rain. Torian Rain is actually in the Urban Dictionary for palm color. You know what I'm saying? I think I might trademark that one, though. Slave fucker, man. Shut up. Slave fucker. You know what I'm saying? So dumb ass up. They wouldn't know what to do. My family didn't own slaves, man. Shut the fuck up. DJ Academics, when he was clowning on Rolo, shut the fuck up. The fact is, he made tens of millions of dollars off unpaid black men as a football coach. So again, this is one of the reasons why these people do this. That is the way that the economic system should work. That's what they feel. Their pacemakers would do leaps and bounds. They would literally be doing the electric slide. Oh, boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie. My pacemaker went off because it's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie. He literally has the stature he has because people went out there and assumed the risk and incurred the risk of consciousness, playing hard and everything. Yeah. Speaking of that, you know what I'm saying? They don't even believe that there's anything wrong with the race norming. With the race norming that was going on that the NFL practices, which is one of the reasons why those people are suffering from those concussions. So what you're seeing here is that people are drawing lines. Shout out to black people for increasing their gun ownership, because if they cross lines, now we can, instead of just drawing lines and drawing pictures, we can draw weapons. We can draw weapons. The original person of color, Karen, the POC Hawaiian surfboarder, Tulsi Gabbard, she pledged her allegiance to keeping the oath of white supremacy. What do you guys think? My question is anybody surprised? Man, I'm sitting here looking at this article that I was thinking about reading, and I'm glad that I didn't read it because this article is long as hell. Sheesh. God damn. Now, I want to show you guys something real quick. We're going to get back to Tulsi in a minute. Her hair was a lot less salt and pepper in that picture. I want to make sure that you guys pay very close attention to that. You know what I'm saying? We're going to listen to Tuberville's racist remarks. A bear hug. A bear hug. Now, Dan I'd rather not, says this is straight up racism. And his contribution to this straight up racism was promoting it via his Twitter platform. So shout out to Dan I'd rather not. There's a 21-second clip here. All right. And we're going to look at it. This is Tommy Tuberville. Yeah, facts, Thomas. Slave graper. Slave graper. Now check this out right here. Look at this. Now you know it smells like ass.
Some people say, well, they're soft on crime. No, they're not soft on crime. They're pro-crime. They want crime. They want crime because they want to take over what you got. They want to control what you have.
That's right. That's right. And I'm going to make sure that I always remind people, you better make sure you got a lock on your shit. Because if you ain't got a lock on your shit, I'm coming for it. Just like how the United States didn't have locks on it and people came from Europe and came for it, I'm coming for your shit. I could be right there when the elevator opens. I could be in your garage in your nice neighborhood when you hit the button on the garage changer. I might pop out black as hell. If your grandmother reaches into her purse, I might reach out from the purse like the Night of the Living Dead, like Freddy Krueger, and yank her old ass right inside of that purse. You open up your trunk to put the groceries in the car. By the time you get to where you need to be, it ain't gonna be shit but empty paper bags and chicken bones in there. Cause I'm gonna eat all that shit and then barrel roll my ass out your car. We coming for yo shit, boy. We coming for your shit, boy.
They want reparation because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. Bullshit.
Shit bull. You say we all doing crime? We about to all start doing crime. Thank you for the green light.
They are not owed that. Some people say, well, they're soft on crime. No, they're not soft on crime. They're pro-crime. They want crime. They want crime because they want to take over what you got. They want to control what you have. They want reparation because they think the people that do the crime.
Yeah. 42 million black people doing crime at the same time. Thanks to Tommy Tuberville. You know, when I was thinking about the election, I thought that a lot of Republicans would win. So I was saying I think that there's going to be a red wave. Nah, I don't think so. With the way that the economy is, and now that I know that white people think that all black people are criminals and that we're entitled to just something that we're not deserving of, I thought it was going to be a red wave this election. I see an oil spill coming this election. And I ain't talking about the gas prices. I ain't talking about the gas prices. You know what I'm saying? If you guys want to see an oil spill for the midterms, 2022, give me a thumbs up. I want to see an oil spill. This Karen has gone full white nationalist. I got a question for you guys. Do you think that her and Kanye West got in some kind of entanglement? You know, sometimes that starts happening. You start fucking around with people and then you start sounding like each other. What do you guys think? You think Kanye gave her some of that dropout dick and she said, fuck it, I'm just going full white nationalist? I don't know. But she's had it. She's done. You know what I'm saying? She's tired of it. Now, you know what I find funny? And the reason why I'm asking about Kanye is because she used the same dog whistles that Kanye West used. She talked about the Jays too. She just didn't mention their names. She called them, quote unquote, elitist. Everybody's happy. Oh, Tulsi, you've come home. Notice how they didn't say that to Kanye. That's because you ain't got a home, boy. That's because you ain't got a home. But you see, like I said, Tulsi Gabbard, you know what I'm saying? Joe Rogan, all these kind of people, they're celebrated. The population at large tells on themselves. Former presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard says she's leaving the Democratic Party. I'm done. If you was a real politician, you wouldn't be a part of no party anyway. Yeah, facts, Black. What up with it, bro? She talking about anti-white racism. She's not even white. You know how white people like to do that shit? They dealing with a mixed person or, you know, dealing with a light-skinned person. You're not even black. Oh, really? Well, what's your definition of black? Well, guess what? She's not even white. She's not even white, but she's concerned about that anti-white racism. The thing that I find fascinating is that anti-white racism is perpetuated by other white people, but white people are so on code, they never call it out. They'll try to use black people as the face of anti-white racism when the people that fund and propagate anti-white racism are other translucenites. They're other translucenites. You know what I'm saying? Former Congresswoman and 2020 presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard announced that she is leaving the Democratic Party, and then there was echoes because no one cares. Tulsi Gabbard said, I'm leaving. I can. No. Longer. That's how empty that shit was. That's how little anybody cares about what your post-wall, over-the-hill ass is doing. So let me ask this question. We've been bringing up Kevin Samuels a lot. We're going to bring up Kevin Samuels again. Do you think the late Kevin Samuels would say, Tulsi, when it comes to political parties, you chose wrong? She's a very modern woman. I can no longer remain in today's Democrat Party, she said on an episode of her podcast. That people who do shit like put blocks together on Minecraft get more views than. It's now under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers driven by cowardly wokeness. Now, she's talking about the J community, and she's talking about us. But nobody is outraged. You don't see Tulsi Gabbard on the cover of New York Post. I don't see anybody shoving microphones in The Rock's face asking, do you condemn Tulsi Gabbard for her anti-Semitic comments? You know, because she is Samoan like you. Nope. That kind of stuff only happens to black people. There's some black person on the other side of the world do some crazy shit. Somebody come find my ass, waking me up at 7 o'clock in the morning talking about, do you condemn this shit that this black person does? Well, who the fuck is that? Who is this? Where are they from? I never even heard of this person or this city. And you asking me, do I condemn this motherfucker? Man, go on somewhere. I'm not buying any. Click and don't call back. Damn. We need to put out the calls to the native indigenous people of Hawaii and ask, do they condemn Tulsi Gabbard? Man, I don't know what it is about Hispanic Heritage Month. Maybe they really care that much about being honorary white supremacists that they decide to act out during the month of their Hispanic heritage to solidify how big of a part anti-black racism actually is within their heritage. But man, they acting a damn fool. And they drawing lines in the sand. Now, you know what's crazy? Man, you don't hear any black politicians sounding hostile like this. And yet, if black politicians say one thing that white people don't like, man, it's all kind of Marxism and all kinds of communist takeovers. And I mean, shit, you would think that Putin had troops on the ground in the United States, the way that they over dramatize everything. You would think. You know what I'm saying? But you don't hear that for some reason. Why is it that these black politicians sound so lukewarm and watered down? That's my question. What do you guys think about that? Why is that? Man, these white politicians come and beat their chest to anti-black racism. I hate you, niggas. You're all criminals. Fuck this woke shit. The only person that sounds halfway gangster that's a black politician is Maxine Waters. And not because she's actually doing anything gangster, because it sounds like she smokes a pack of Newports, then smokes a pack of Salem's, and then drinks a fifth of Hennessy before she goes to sleep. She got that cancer sounding voice. Listen here now. I'm about tired of you niggas acting up out here. She got that Harlem Night swag. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't because she doing anything out here. Just, you know what I'm saying? Some people just got the G swag. You know what I'm saying? She got that swag like an old ass madam. You know what I'm saying? Like an old ass pimp. You Negroes better get y'all motherfucking asses in line and go on over there and vote before I take my belt off and whoop your ass with it. Yeah, sounding like Wheezy and shit. Of course. You guys already know. 9 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock p.m. It don't matter when I go live. Somebody gonna call right while I'm in the middle of the stream. You know what I'm saying? You know how your friends be. Nigga, you live? I see you on YouTube. Yeah, bro. She probably do smoke Pall Malls or those Parliament cigarettes and have them, you know what I'm saying, in her teeth. Shout out to my man Black Star Racer. What up with it, bro? She's sipping some of that Wild Irish Rose, some MG 2020, talking about Billy D. Williams and shit. I drank Coke 45 because I love me some Billy D. Man, you know you old as all hell. Damn. Hang it up. Talking about you love you some Billy D. Gabbard additionally accused the party of, quote unquote, stoking anti-white racism. So she's accusing this white party of stoking anti-white racism. What kind of anti-white racism is it that we're dealing with here? For whatever reason, when it comes to the Democrats, most of what I see is the Democrats being extremely and exclusively anti-black. I mean, we just had, shout out to Nuri Martinez, that entire fiasco there. She wasn't talking about white people, very much at least. She said one white man was a bitch. What is anti-white racism? Can someone explain to me how anybody in here has ever systemically harmed white people? Anti-white racism. I'm going to tell you guys what anti-white racism means. That means holding white people accountable for their contribution and the benefit that they get from current day conditions that was set up by past events. That's what anti-white racism means. It basically means accountability. That's what woke means. It means accountability. Slavery created the racial wealth gap. You're woke. All of these terms that these uncreative translucenites come up with is to shut down any kind of conversation or any kind of rebuttal and attempt to shame you away from talking about it. No more, no less. That's it. So now here it says being contemptuous towards a religion and police and driving the country closer to nuclear war. So I'm trying to figure out how, again, wokeness is driving the country towards nuclear war. I don't understand that. Joe Biden is driving the country closer towards nuclear war. If you guys agree Joe Biden is driving the country closer towards nuclear war, give me a thumbs up. If you don't think so, give me a thumbs down. What do you guys think? Let me know. What do you guys think? Gabbard was first elected to her native state of Hawaii's legislature in 2002 as a Democrat. So another thing that you guys should pay attention to is Tulsi Gabbard. She's a walking, breathing, living example of the POC to WS pipeline that I was talking about that United States politics creates. There's a people of color to white supremacist pipeline that's been created, not only through immigration, but through American politics. Do you guys ever notice that? The people of color cling to and attempt to overtake and ingratiate themselves into initiatives and things that happened with us. As they start to build themselves from government policies that they get through Lift All, Voices Acts, and different things like that, they start to move more further towards the anti-black white right. And then they just go full white supremacist, and they're accepted because they're saying the right thing. Remember, if we can't reproduce our bodies fast enough, if we can't clone ourselves fast enough, the more people that we have walking around who have their ideology and thought patterns programmed by our playbook, that is almost as good as creating more white people. So the POC, the creation of POC is actually an addendum to the white replacement theory that white people have come up with. Because what you're doing now is you've created a bunch of replacement white supremacists instead of white people actually being replaced. So that is their code. And as you can see, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican. When it comes to white supremacy, the leader is the code. So now here it says in 2012, Gabbard became the first Hindu and one of the first 2 female combat veterans elected to Congress. She began building a national profile during the 2016 election when she resigned from her post as vice chairperson of the Democratic National Committee to endorse Bernie Sanders for president. She announced her own presidential run on CNN in January of 2019, saying there's one main issue that is central to the rest. That is the issue of war and peace. All right. So that article right there was a hot bag of nothing. Can you guys feel the heat coming off of it? The article was a hot bag of nothing. But what you guys need to see and what you guys need to know is my bad. I was distracted by this picture of Kanye West's new girlfriend. Hold on. What you guys need to know is that they're drawing lines. Everybody's drawing lines, especially the people of color. See, see trending now? Juliana Nalu. I don't know who the hell Juliana Nalu is. I guess she Kanye West's new girlfriend. Kanye West liked them sex tape women, so I don't know what her history is or anything like that. But I guarantee you, at some point, she'll find herself on the Bad Girls Gone Worse series. What do you guys think? Over here, you see where it says recommended? It says Ohio incel faces life in prison in plot to massacre 3,000 sorority girls. About that. Is anybody surprised by that? If you guys are surprised that this incel here was going to massacre all these women, give me a thumbs up. What's wrong with these incels that they just had these plans to take out all these women? What's going on there? Does anybody know, like, why is that suddenly happening? And I'm trying to get this video to play. New York Post, as much money as they have, for whatever reason, their site is horrible. They need to get some new programmers or something. Here it is. Okay, here we go. Let's listen.
Democratic Party. I'm
dramatic and I'm a Karen. And I can just no longer support the Democratic Party. I mean, it's just so dramified. This is your person of color coalition right here. These are politically orchestrated Caucasians. That's what POC stands for. No person of color is black. All of these people of color are problematic, obviously, cave people. That's what POC stands for. There's a lot of different things that POC can stand for. But just listen to Tulsi Gabbard. She acts as if black people were beating down her door asking her for something. The only thing that any black person that I know ever asked Tulsi Gabbard for was to shut the hell up and stop calling yourself a person of color. That whole POC thing is a hustle for white people to be able to get away from their whiteness and then be able to be as racist as they want to. Look at all of the white Latinos in California. Well, I'm not white. I got a tan. So that means that I can say the N-word. No, it doesn't mean that you can say anything other than I have a tan. But see, nobody is stopping that shit. Nobody's like hard checking these people. And it's kind of hard to hard check these people, or kind of hard to stop this kind of stuff when you don't really have like a strong or appropriate media vehicle or a strong or appropriate media apparatus. And in my opinion, that's one of the reasons why that's something that we really need to strive to get. If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Let's listen.
I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party that's under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers who are driven by cowardly wokeness, who divide us by racializing every issue and stoking.
This is, again, right here, another instance of white people not being able to take accountability for their creation of race, racism, segregation, apartheid. All of that stuff is stuff that white people did. Race-based class systems like Asiento de Negros and the caste system in India, and her being somebody who's allegedly a Hindu, not acknowledging that. We don't share any responsibility in any of the negativity that was created by the institution of racism that her descendants came up with, that she benefits from today. Cut the check and shut the fuck up. That's what needs to happen.
Anti-white racism, who actively
anti-white racism. So as long as everybody in the United States knows that anti-white racism is a huge problematic issue, you're okay. We've done statistics and we've done studies about the increases of the victims of hate crimes. Let me ask you guys a question in the comment section. Who experienced the greatest amount of hate crimes in 2021? What group of people? White people are always at the bottom of the hate crime list, and they're always the number one perpetrator of hate crimes. Every single time. So now my question for her is, what is she talking about? Now, remember, this is a government official, somebody that actually had power, policy power. And she feels comfortable and emboldened to sit here and lie like this. My question for you guys is why? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and make sure you hit the bell.
Actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms that are enshrined in our Constitution, who are hostile to people of faith and spirituality, who demonize the police but protect criminals at the expense of law-abiding Americans, who believe in open borders.
So when they say criminals, they're talking about black people. When they say law-abiding, Christian, hardworking Americans, they're talking about white people. That's what they mean. It doesn't matter how they try to squirm and wiggle their way out of it. That's what they mean. If that's not what they meant, then Tommy Tuberville would not have addressed black people as criminals. So we need to stop giving these people wiggle room for their nonsensical explanations and start hammering them to the wall like Blade does in my intro. When they talk about criminals, when you're listening to someone like Tulsi Gabbard, criminal equals black person, good law-abiding people equals white people. These are good, wholesome Americans. They're never talking about black people when they talk about good, wholesome Americans. They're never talking about black people when they're talking about good Christian Americans. None of these people are ever referring to you as anything good except for you look good in a casket or you look good behind bars.
In our Constitution, who are hostile to people of faith and spirituality, who demonize the police but protect criminals at the expense of law-abiding Americans, who believe in open borders, who weaponize the national security state to go after their political opponents.
I thought the passport bros had a handle on these bitches. Seemed like this one that got away. Where them passport niggas at? I thought they had the handles on bitches like this.
And above all, who are dragging us ever closer to nuclear war. Now, I believe in a government that's of the people, by the people, and for the people. Unfortunately, today's Democratic Party does not. Instead, it stands for a government that is of, by, and for the powerful elite.
Facts. The only time they call us Americans is during the Olympics. Again, exploiting stereotypes. Cameron said Tulsi ain't a foreigner. She's a person of color. She looks like a Karen Sita, but she claims that she's Samoan. I think she's Samoan and white or something like that. As far as I'm concerned, she's white. This is that era where you can identify with everything. You know what I'm saying? You can identify with anything. I could say that I'm a coffee mug and it will fly. You know what I'm saying? So she can say that she's not white and it flies. And then she can turn around and say this kind of stuff and it'll somewhat slide under the radar because, you know, I mean, she's a minority. There's that M word again. She's a minority. You know what I'm saying? Oh, absolutely. My question is, what does she put on her job application? Cameron Jones says she's spicy Indian, so she's Steph Curry. If you guys agree with Carlton that Tulsi Gabbard puts white on her job application, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. I've never seen a job application or an EEOC form that has the term person of color on it. Have you guys? Is there anybody that's ever seen the term person of color on any official government documents? And if nobody's ever seen that term used anywhere, my question is, why are we using it? I've never seen it anywhere. So my question is, why are we using it?
Now, I'm calling on my fellow common sense, independent-minded Democrats to join me in leaving the Democratic Party.
She's talking about those white Democrats. What's that dude's name? Like Manchin. And you guys remember when I did that stream and we talked about that blue MAGA sector of the Democrats? That's what she's talking about. These people are, you got to understand, when these people are talking, they, even if you're a black person and you have similar ideas to these people, they are never talking to you. These are factions of a military in a war against you. They are never talking to you. You are never invited to the raisins in potato salad. You're never invited. Okay?
If you can no longer stomach the direction that the so-called woke Democratic Party ideologues are taking our country, then I invite you to join me.
Now, never mind. So now here, here it says former Democratic House member and presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard announced she was leaving the party Tuesday, blasting it as an elitist cabal. Yet I don't see the ADL posting anything about Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah, she needs to put the crack pipe down, or the methamphetamine pipe. Cameron said he can't stomach her house's or odor. You know what I'm saying? I had no idea, but the government is driven by cowardly wokeness and creating anti-white racism. Man, I swear to God, wokeness is doing everything except for paying us our reparations, isn't it? Wokeness is doing everything except for paying us at all. When is the last time you got some of that woke money? If you've ever received that woke money, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. If you haven't received any of that woke money, give me a thumbs down. I ain't never gotten any of that woke money. Have you guys ever gotten any of that woke money? I've never gotten any. I missed my check. And check this out, y'all. I check the mail every day. I go to the mailbox every day. And I have yet to see my woke money check. Yeah, facts. If you guys agree with Bronze, give me a thumbs up. I could use a woke money check. You know who got the fattest woke money check? Brett Favre. Brett Favre got the biggest woke money check in American history. Shout out to Brett Favre for that woke check. I'm trying to do it like Brett Favre. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get that kind of woke money. I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party that is now under complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers driven by cowardly wokeness who divide us by racializing every issue and stoke anti-white racism, actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms that are enshrined in the Constitution. You know what else was enshrined in the Constitution? That black people ain't human. You know what's enshrined in that God, that religion that she's talking about? A race-based hierarchy. Black people are inherently evil. We're the descendants of all of these fictional characters, which actually doesn't make any sense. Don't make me go into how that shit don't make any sense. Because if we're talking about marks and different things like that, we don't have a mark. The people who say that we're cursed are the ones that actually have a mark. You know why? Because one of the markers on their DNA doesn't allow production of a normalized part of the human epidermis. That's a mark. Nobody came out of Africa and got lighter. That is a lie, which is one of the reasons why more black people need to get into science, specifically biology and genealogy. Nobody went to the North Pole, and because there's less sunlight, your melanin just stops producing itself. That's not what happened. That's not what genetics says. That's also not what the evidence says, because when you go to those places, the indigenous people like the Inuit are dark. That means that there was a mark somewhere. And you know where marks take place? Marks take place in your DNA. That's why it's called a genetic marker. And when you're looking at a normalized distribution of people in the population, that's why they call the word normal, because it's something that occurs a lot, like water is normal to the planet. A substance called normal saline because of the distribution of sodium, chlorine, and water. Well, there's another distribution that's quote unquote normal, and it's something that is absent over there. Now, am I saying that that makes somebody better or worse than somebody else? No, I'm not. I'm just saying, watch who you say's got marks. That's what I'm saying. Because when it comes down to it, if need be, I'll show you who's got marks. So now here it says Gabbard, who gave up her House seat representing Hawaii to run for president in 2020, condemned the Progressive Party for being hostile to people of faith and spirituality. Again, if you guys know anything about the evangelicals, the Mormons, different people like that, they believe that black people don't have a soul. Black people don't have a spirit. Again, I find it fascinating because soul, the word soul, actually comes from solar, like solar system, right? Summer solstice, winter solstice, position of the sun, solar system, planets that revolve around the sun, soul. So if you have a soul, that means that more than likely you're somewhat derived from the materials that make up the sun. At least that's what science says, thermodynamics, and that's what the naming system says as well. Do we need to start talking about that mark again? Do we need to start talking about that mark again? You know, the mark that they say we have? While demonizing the police and protecting criminals at the expense of law-abiding Americans. So when they say while demonizing police and protecting criminals, what that basically means is they're talking about black people. Again, anytime you hear crime and it's synonymous with black people, when any of these people mention the word crime. She's then accused party leaders of weaponizing national security to go after their political opponents, and above all, who are dragging us even closer to nuclear war. So now they're talking about all of these SWATs and raids and stuff like that that the Democratic Party is doing. I don't know why they did a close-up on her like that. Gabbard, who endorsed Joe Biden's candidacy after dropping out of the presidential race, says she believes in a government that's of the people, which when they say a government that's of the people, remember, they don't consider black people people. So they're talking about white people and select people of color. By the people and for the people. You got to understand how to decode these dog whistles and then just never worry about asking, because if you ask about it, they'll say, that's not what I meant. It is what you meant. Because why use nonsensical, obtuse language instead of just being direct? You see, what you got to understand, that's one thing, in my opinion, that we need to work on is not being direct. We need to come up with our own code words and not share them. Because there's code words and dog whistles that are used all the time, and they'll just sit there and lie about the shit. And it'll remain speculation because they've never shared those code words with you. You don't know what they mean. But see, like, a lot of people are simple-minded, and a lot of people want to just share everything because they just want so badly to be accepted. Me personally, I embrace the role of being a bad guy. I embrace the role of not being accepted. You want to act like you're scared? I'll scare the dog shit out your ass. I don't care. And I think that more people need to be like that. You want to act like you're scared? I'll give you a reason to be scared. Cool. I'm not ever trying to prove that I'm not a big, scary black guy. I'm going to prove that I'm a big, terrifying black motherfucker. Anytime I come around a bunch of people, you need to be thinking, damn, I need to kill him, but I'm scared. So now here it says, unfortunately, today's Democratic Party does not. Instead, it stands for a government that is of, by, and for the powerful elite, she says. It's always been that way. When has the government of the United States ever been for, quote unquote, all of the people? Has it ever been? A government that has a history of an economy built on free slave labor that it's too ashamed of itself to acknowledge has never been for all of the people. Anytime anybody says this, make sure that you understand that they're being openly dismissive of not only our history, but of our role in the United States. Just understand that. That's what they're doing. And they're doing that purposely to try to attempt to exert control and as a mechanism to attempt to try to keep you in your place, which we're not obligated to stay in any place. We can do whatever the hell we want to do, whatever we're capable of. Our capability is the only thing that should hold us anywhere. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. So now, in my opinion, if you ask me, Tulsi Gabbard, she's no different than like any of these black conservatives. She's just a grifter. She's just going where it's easier. And right now, you know, the anti-Democrat sentiment is high because nobody likes Democrats. Black people are moving away from Democrats. White people, because they have a two-party system that alleviates them from the responsibility of sinking the country, they're blaming all of that on the Democrats, which, again, I don't understand how anybody white can blame any element of the government for anything, because both parties of the government work to maintain their privilege and dominance. So I don't understand why they would have any issue with any political party. It's just, the whole trust fund baby thing. So Tulsi's just on her hustle. And she's saying the things that you want to hear. And the lowest IQ of people are the racist people that are emotionally charged, that all you have to do is say some anti-black shit and they'll send you your entire paycheck. Tulsi Gabbard saw that was a working business model for Trump. It's a working business model for a lot of white politicians, a lot of white actors, a lot of white no talent hip hop artists like Adam Calhoun and Tom McDonald. So she's just following the business model. The same thing that coons do. Officer Tatum, Candace Owens, is no different. It's a business model. Remember, the United States Corporation of America is a business. You know what I'm saying? If you can no longer stomach the direction that the so-called woke Democratic Party ideologues are taking in our country, I invite you to join me. Now, let me tell you guys something. If you guys demand that Tulsi Gabbard denounce Nuri Martinez, she'll point her finger at you and say that you're the racist. You're the one that's bringing race into everything. Can't you just let it go? No. You need to be asking, can't she just let it go, because she's the one that said it. My expectation for someone to behave themselves as a human is an outrage to these people. Pay very close attention to what an outrage is, or what causes an outrage. Gabbard did not say in her message whether she would join the Republican Party, register as a political independent, or start a third party. She spoke in February to the Conservative Political Action Network, in which she called for unity and deplored the power elites who are eroding individual rights. We have too many people in positions of power whose foremost responsibility is to protect our freedoms and uphold our God-given rights, yet they are the ones who are actually trying to take these rights away from us, Gabbard said in those remarks. So now pay very close attention to how these people never specifically talk about what it is and what rights that are being taken away. Here's my question, guys. What rights are being taken away? What are they talking about? Gun rights? Okay, well, that's something that affects everybody. That's not anti-white racism. That's some all lives matter shit. So just the simple fact that they look at taking away certain rights as anti-white racism shows you that the understanding is that it's white people who have the rights. It's not us. And they know that. And that's why they come up with these kind of terminologies, weasel words. This is the biggest threat to our country. It's not coming from some foreign country. It's coming from the power elites here at home and their co-conspirators in the mainstream media and the security state who are working to undermine our freedoms. Gabbard distanced herself from the Dems after her failed presidential bid and eventually went on to become a critic of Biden, denouncing him in May for labeling former President Donald Trump's MAGA movement as the most extreme political organization that's existed. And I do actually agree with her that MAGA is not the most extreme political organization that's existed. I think the entire United States is the most extreme political organization that's ever existed. It's a corrupt business with nukes. There's nobody in MAGA that has nukes. There's a bunch of denture wearing trailer trash that talk shit. And every single person that is in MAGA is not at that extreme level either. There's a lot of people that have common sense. But the entire embodiment of the United States is dangerous and problematic to the entire world. Because the entire United States is on the verge of a nuclear war with Russia. And they're not even talking about that in the mainstream media. So when it comes to these individual political organizations, these political organizations are nothing more than deflection so that they're always able to steer away from the white supremacy talking point. Well, no, it wasn't the Republicans. The Democrats is the party of the KKK. Yeah, it's them. No, it's all of you. It's every single one of you. That's the reason why they cut this shit up. That's the reason why they created the people of color, so that white people with a tan can call you the N-word. Like Tulsi Gabbard. At the time, Gabbard accused the president of equating Trump followers with terrorists in an attempt to intimidate them into silence. Some of those motherfuckers were on that level. Did you guys ever see that Trump rally where one of the women there had a black dick mask on her nose? I gotta find those pictures and shit. I mean, like, what's the purpose of that kind of shit? You know what I'm saying? Did you guys ever see that? If you guys saw that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't, give me a thumbs down. Did you guys see that? If you guys ever saw that, give me a thumbs down or give me a thumbs up. I think they must have purged that shit from the internet because I can't find it. Hold on real quick. I'm going to try one more time. Like, this shit is wild. Yeah, they purged that shit off the internet. But if I find that shit one of these days, though, I will definitely show it to y'all. Wait a minute. Hold on, Rogue. Nah, that's not it. Yeah, they just be doing goofball shit. Like, what would be the point of that? Shout out to my man, Jay Bird. What up with it, bro? Yeah, I can't find it. But I mean, like, this is shit like this is what I'm talking about. I'm gonna show y'all real quick. Look at this dude in the background. Y'all about to die laughing. Like shit like this. Like, why? That's not terrorism, man. That's comedy. But when you're dangerously stupid, it can be terrorism. Like, motherfuckers can do some really dumb shit that can terrorize the world. Like, who does it? Who does that shit? So now here it says, so he's essentially saying this: MAGA crowds are worse than terrorists. This is outrageous. And so every American who's watching, every American who's seen this, no matter how you feel about the MAGA crowd, this is an authoritarian assault on our freedom, Gabbard told Fox News' Sean Hannity. And again, remember, I told you guys to pay attention to that narrative about how it's this we're always attacked thing. Like, no, you're not. Like, nobody ever went to a MAGA rally and shot it up and killed a bunch of people. They might have like little fights, you know what I'm saying, with these little weird ass groups like Antifa and these just stupid ass liberal teenagers and weirdos. But we don't have Peyton Gendrons. There's no black Peyton Gendron going to a MAGA rally, gunning down white people with a Tyrone Manifesto. I don't even think there is a Tyrone Manifesto, but there sure as hell is a Chad Manifesto. So now here it says Gabbard also called out former President Barack Obama for refusing to say Islamic extremists are waging a war against the United States. I'm upset that the Black Congressional Caucus hasn't called out the fact that white people have waged a war against the entire world. But okay, I guess that falls under that anti-white racism that she's talking about, despite the fact that they literally have their flags all over the damn world. Known for her strong libertarian streak, Gabbard has spoken about the need to ban private prisons and emphasize rehabilitation in the criminal justice system. That when it comes from Tulsi Gabbard, that basically means giving black people longer sentences. An advocate for abortion rights, Gabbard has called state laws that would restrict the procedure extremely dangerous. It completely takes away from the freedom of women to choose whether or not to have an abortion. So now pay very close attention to how she's pro-abortion. She's in support of one of the most anti-black liberal things. So these are the things that you got to look at. Even if a woman girl is a victim of rape or incest, this law must be rejected, she said on Twitter in May 2019 while criticizing an Alabama statute. So now one thing that we know about Tulsi Gabbard is that she was acting as if she was down with one political party while she really believed in and had the ideologies of another political party. Which my thing is, there's no issue with whatever ideologies that you have, but the question is, why be a snake? You know what I'm saying? Why be a snake? Exactly, Cameron, and that's exactly what she was trying to do. So while she's sitting there talking about people calling the MAGA political party extremist and terrorist, how dangerous that is, she's trying to imply that Obama is a Muslim and that he's anti-American, which for whatever reason, white people think that black people are anti-American anyway. You never hear a black person being talked about as an all-American. So my question for everybody is, why is that? Why is it that we never hear a black person referred to as an all-American? It's because these people don't see you as shit. They see you as their property. They see you as a criminal. Again, their silence speaks volumes. If they're not speaking against any of this stuff, then they're with it. 100%. No pass is given. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you hit the bell icon twice. Smash that like button. Follow my backup channels. Make sure you guys check out the content as you see it on the homepage. Watch the streams all the way through to the end. And I will catch you all on the next one. All right? Peace.